Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 40 of Philline. Today I'm going to be talking about self confidence and our insecurities, mainly body insecurities, because that's usually what I struggle with, but how we can shape that to help us grow as a person and how we can embrace our insecurities and be the most confident person that we can be every single moment of our lives. So, yeah, let's get started. Hey, you guys, and welcome back. I cannot believe I'm already recording another episode. It's been a busy week and just so fast, so many things are going on. And I cannot believe it's almost Valentine's Day. What? This year just started. I cannot believe that. Anyways, I'm not really a big Valentine's Day person, anyways. I'm not really that cheesy. Believe it or not, I used to be, and I don't know what happened then, but anyways, I just don't, I feel like Valentine's Day is kind of overrated in my opinion because everybody saves their efforts for Valentine's Day. And don't get me wrong, people do really cute shit sometimes for Valentine's Day. Don't get me wrong at all. But the main act of going out to eat and waiting, what could be 1.5 to 2 hours of, you know, waiting to eat is just completely ridiculous to me. I don't know. I mean, I'm more of a let's cook at home and watch a bunch of movies type person. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing this weekend. But yeah, I mean, this weekend is going to be absolutely beautiful weather. I think I saw that it was going to be in the 50s or something. But speaking of warmer weather, my anxiety is going up because that means I have to get my body ready for summer. And that ties in perfectly with what I'm going to be talking about this episode, and that is insecurities. We all have them. How can we change the way that we use it, right? So obviously when we have insecurities, it breaks us down. We don't want to go anywhere. We feel ugly in pretty much any piece of clothing. That's how I've been feeling lately. And it's kind of crazy because I've been on this diet where I'm cutting calories again just to get rid of some body fat for 8-ish weeks. And I just feel bloated sometimes. Sometimes I just get uncomfortable when I put on shorts and stuff. So I bought 4 new pairs of shorts from American Eagle and they were absolutely so cute. But of course, my main focus was directly towards my stomach, and I just, for some odd reason, am never happy with my stomach. And everyone listening, we all have our own insecurities. Guys, too. Guys have insecurities about their bodies. They maybe don't show it as much as often as girls do. And in general, I feel like girls just, very vocal about their opinions, their feelings, what makes them insecure, and etc. So we all have insecurities. It's just a matter of how we can use that to help us grow and be more productive in that insecurity, right? So a lot of my episodes have been getting in touch with yourself, how you feel, noticing when something happens, and maybe changing the way that you react or look, at that certain feeling. And oftentimes, I think there's just a lot of pressure as human beings these days to look a certain way. What's really ironic, though, is if you guys have ever Googled, or maybe you haven't, but maybe if you're just wondering, there are different body stereotypes by country. In the US, it's always constantly changing. I mean, if you went back to I don't know, the 70s or the 60s, I forget exactly, but being thin was the ideal body type. Now we're kind of in the curvy phase, right? That big bootay and, just being thick. And I think having these stereotypes, especially on social media, it literally chokes you and they shove that stereotype down your throat. You feel a constant pressure to want to be a certain way because of that. And I do put a lot of blame on social media because there's not enough, you know, posts, or there's not enough awareness that people have on social media that it's so fake. Like, I could be taking two different pictures in a bikini in one angle and look like a beached whale. And on the other hand, move your phone down just a couple of degrees and all of a sudden you got that model look. So I just want everyone to remember that our bodies are really our vessels, right? And when I say that, I guess what I'm saying is every day is progress that we make for our body. Every day that we're working on it is something that we should 100% embrace and be happy and enjoy every step of the way. Here's something that I want you guys to think about. So imagine going on a journey, whatever it is, healing, spiritual, physical, whatever. When you get to that end goal, you almost don't have that motivation that you had when you were, going up to that goal. And after that, you're kind of like, okay, I'm done. So what now? And I think it's important that we, appreciate the work that it took to get there before we really beat ourselves up, Like, I think that we won't really realize how much work we've put into ourselves until we get to our end goal. And we often forget to celebrate the small victories, right? Like, you got up in the morning to go to the gym. That's amazing. Like, even though you've been doing that for the past 2 weeks, that's amazing. You have been eating well, but you haven't been going to the gym. And today you just decided to go to the gym. That is a huge step for yourself, even if you're not seeing results. And this kind of applies to me, especially today, because it was my check-in. It's my 4th week out of 8 weeks. And I went to weigh myself thinking, I was like, wow, I've been so good. Like, there's no way that I gained weight, or I definitely just look better. So I definitely lost weight. I went to weigh myself, and lo and behold, my freaking weight didn't change. And I'm like, of course this happens. I just retain water and salt terribly, if that makes sense. Every time I have something that's too much salt or too much water, I am bloated for 3 or 4 days. So that's kind of what happened, because the past couple of days, I admit that I had a lot of good food, but it was good salty food. And so I definitely felt defeated, unmotivated, sad. But then there was another part of this form to check in that told me to measure my hips and my waist. And lo and behold, my waist went down 3 inches. So what a small victory, right? Even though I didn't lose weight, I lost inches off of my waist. So sometimes we have to just focus on the things that we have accomplished rather than, what's making us feel like we're not moving forward. And hence, we kind of struggle to show confidence when we're feeling a certain way. And it really hinders us as human beings, because really we're all beautiful in our own ways. And I think that we really need to get in touch with that part of ourselves, that little person that's like, hey, I am awesome. I am beautiful. That's battling this huge Titan size you that's saying, I just don't look good in this dress. I'll never look good. My stomach just never will go away. I'll never be as thin as all those other girls, as people around me. I'll never be as strong. I'll never have abs. But the thing is, all of fitness goals, all of our body insecurities, if we really work hard on it, it's not going to show in a flip of a switch. And as much as we want to, right? Because as humans, we always look for the direct reward to something that we do. When it comes to fitness, it is a very slow and long process. Like, you have to be really persistent and consistent when it comes to your body goals, your fitness goals, and honestly, just your diet goals as well. This 8-week challenge is great and all, but if I don't apply what I learned during this challenge to my diet after the fact, I'm just going to gain all that weight back. So, really, it's a huge change in your lifestyle, but you have to embrace every little step along the way. And how we build our confidence in that is by changing the way we think about it. It's very normal to feel insecure about our bodies, but it's also unhealthy to really dwell on what your body isn't and rather focus on what your body is. And I think a lot of that comes along too with what we wear, right? So I feel like on social media, like all the outfits I see on social media are always just super thin. And listen, it's not really ideal to be wearing like skin tight clothes all the time. First of all, I freaking hate skin tight clothes. There is no way. I'm always wearing sweatpants and a sweater, but there's always some type of clothes that you could choose that actually fits your body type, and you don't have to dress a certain way just because that's just what the stereotype of social media brings to your attention. I think oftentimes we think that we can't dress a certain way just because we don't look a certain way. But honestly, everyone's so good at, getting their best looks together. You know what I mean? I constantly just, regardless of the size of the person, how they look, whatever, I'm always just like, how the hell do they get these outfits together? Like, I'm so jealous because I can't even find an outfit that's other than a t-shirt and skinny jeans. I have constantly been wearing skinny jeans and t-shirts for basically all of my life. But long story short, what I'm trying to say is we don't have to fit to what stereotypes or what social media or what the common expectation is for us as whatever, he, she, they, anybody, no matter what your preference is. You don't have to fit into the mold. You know what I mean? I think that's what we argue so much with ourselves. We should be happy with ourselves, right? We're like, I don't understand why I don't love myself as much. Self-love is such a big thing these days. And yet I still am not happy with myself. So you kind of just have to change the way that you think about that. So really, we focus so much on what we can't be or what we can't do or what we don't have. But why not focus on what we can do? You have the ability to be whoever you want to be you, the best you. You don't have to be looking a certain way to be loved by the people around you. If you really think about it, everyone around you loves you for who you are. All the right friends and all the right people, you know what I mean? If they truly love you for you. But they aren't really focusing on your body image. And I think that we focus a lot on what other people think about ourselves. But when we get in touch with how we feel with ourselves, I feel like that motivates us more to not only work on ourselves, but also find the parts about ourselves that we love the most. I hate my stomach, but my legs are pretty toned now. I have a nice butt, at least for myself, for my own preferences. And, I just dwell more on being grateful and appreciating the good parts about myself rather than sulking so much and soaking in all the negative thoughts that my anxiety kind of brings up when it comes to my body. Also, I feel like the big thing about our bodies and just us as people, there's always going to be something that we don't like. And I think that is normal, don't get me wrong. But I think that should be kind of accepting for us. You know what I mean? Like, kind of relaxing in that sense that there's always going to be something wrong or something that, we're not 100% happy with about ourselves. But if we just kind of use that as a way to kind of change our confidence in how we portray ourselves is a little hard, a little challenging, but it's doable. And this all starts with, just don't compare yourselves to others. Everybody always has their own journeys at their own time. And we often forget that and not really pay attention to how great our journey has been so far for ourselves. And, when you stop doing that and you stop looking at what other people have, and this is more than just, our body insecurities, we see how beautiful we are inside and out every step of the way. And we start to focus more on the things we love about our body, down to every small detail. I love the random mole on my foot, for example. And it's a small mole, don't get me, it's not one of those hairy moles, but even the smallest detail of yourself, you start to love. And, instead of forcing your body to be one way, it's kind of like a plant, right? Think about a basil plant. You can't force it to be a mint. It's a freaking basil. You can't make a tomato plant, pineapples or a banana tree. And yet, each plant makes its own beautiful fruit if you nourish it in all the right ways, right? I love relating our bodies to plants because it, one, makes me feel a lot closer to Mother Nature and just the earth and reminds me just how tied everything is. But also, you never look at a plant and say, that's like a really ugly plant. Like, I feel like all different plants have their own natural beauty, and that's just how we all are as human beings. You know, no matter how we look, no matter how tall, how short, etc. We are beautiful in our own way, and the only thing we can do about what we've been naturally given is be confident in it. We make our own fruits. We are beautiful in our own way. And I think when we change that mindset, that's a good first step already in improving your confidence and using kind of that negative thinking or that insecurity into something that's productive and still pushes you to move forward. Also, let me educate you guys a little bit about insecurities that maybe you didn't know at first. Insecurities is you not trusting yourself. And I don't know if you've really necessarily looked at your insecurities in that way, but it actually is that. You don't have trust in yourself in whatever aspect that is. So maybe it's time we start trusting ourselves and trusting the process. If you're unhappy with something and you're definitely working on it, you've been grinding, and maybe, yes, sometimes we fall, sometimes we fluster, sometimes we indulge in amazing food. Like, we're young, of course we want to indulge. When that happens, it's a normal, almost frequent practice for everybody to beat ourselves up and all of a sudden cancel all of the progress that we've used or we've, you know, implemented in our lives up to this point. But if you just say, okay, I indulged today, but that shit was so good. Like, I had Thai food, I had pad Thai, I had soup with it and spring rolls. I just ate like crazy. Yes, it's a step back, but I deserved it. I've been working my ass off so far and I deserve it. And I feel like even just changing how you think about that gives you a little bit more confidence in life too, that you are in fact being your best, doing your best. And all of a sudden my body insecurities, especially about my stomach or just the fact that I ate a lot of food, it makes it less of a punishment and more as a, little reward, right? And I'm not saying, you know, eat all the time and expect it to, give you the expectations that you want for yourself. But if you are already aware of what your body insecurities are and you're working on it, you got to give that a little credit, a little love. You're doing a great job for whatever work you're putting into for your body. No matter if you feel like you're behind today, if you feel like you're 5 steps behind tomorrow, what matters is that we are trusting the process. Trust. Something that is very delicate, but for ourselves, we should learn to trust ourselves more and really get rid of whatever uncertainty we have about ourselves because we're really beautiful inside and out. And there's more than just insecurities that come with not trusting ourselves, right? It also is anxiety driving. It makes you feel uncomfortable. You become unhealthily attached to things, attached to people, the wrong things. And it's just this constant cycle of you continuing to dig yourself a deeper hole for yourself. If you're already putting in the work to improve yourself, that's a lot, right? But it's not going to get even better. You're not going to be able to overcome the bumps in the road if you don't trust yourself to do so, And when that happens and you trust yourself, it shows. Your confidence comes naturally. You don't even have to try to be confident. And honestly, believe it or not, we are our own worst judges. Our worst enemy is ourselves. I guess the first step in building your confidence and kind of changing it into something that's more meaningful from your insecurities is first to recognize your insecurities. I always am constantly talking about being aware and recognizing how you're feeling, and this doesn't fall exempt from that statement. If we notice already what we're insecure about, that's already a good first step, right? Then the next part is kind of really getting in touch with these insecurities. Are these real insecurities? Is this really what people see of you, what people think? Are my expectations real about my body image? For example, my godmother's 50th birthday, I was wearing an outfit that was completely suffocating for me. Like, I physically was getting so insecure about my body in it, but it was the only decent outfit I had in my closet. But the real question to think about in that situation is everybody really looking at your body, at your godmother's 50th birthday, at the event you're going to, at the gym, at, your friend's house? Is everyone around you really focused on how you look, right? Really think about that. Especially at the gym, I've dealt with a lot of personal battles of going to the gym because I was just thinking that people were going to judge me about how I use the equipment, about how light my weights are. And honestly, that fear and that anxiety hasn't gone away. I still go to the gym, and mind you, when I do arms, I'm still doing light weights, but for my legs, I could easily go up to 100 or 100 plus on the leg press or even hip thrusts. But I'm still insecure because I'm still thinking like people are watching me and they're like, wow, this girl does a lot of weights and yet she doesn't look like she's super fit. That's just the thoughts that come to mind. But see, when I say those out loud, everyone listening kind of is like, well, at the gym, nobody's thinking about you like that. I feel like that's one of the thoughts that really, take over sometimes. And honestly, some mornings, I still fight with these thoughts. I still am battling that fear that when I go, I guess the biggest fear for me is that I don't go to the gym in a cute outfit. You know how some girls like go to the gym in the cutest outfits ever, like cutest thing, matching sets and everything. I go to the gym with a t-shirt and leggings or t-shirt and shorts or honestly sweatpants. I don't try like that. So that's like my first insecurity of going to the gym too. Like people are judging me, I don't even look that fit. I don't dress that fit. But listen, end of the day, everyone goes to the gym to work on themselves. honestly, you are probably the last thought in their head right now. They're probably thinking about their own personal goals in the gym. And I think what kind of gives me comfort is that everyone's kind of focusing on their own goals at the gym. And when I kind of changed how I thought about people at the gym and that they don't judge me and they're focused on themselves, it actually created a whole different vibe for me at the gym. I used to go to the gym and just be paranoid. I didn't want to try a new machine. I mean, listen, it still happens now. There's still machines that I'm like, I don't know how the fuck to use this. And because I'm anxious, I just don't. Like, I'd rather try it somewhere else, like a different gym, and then go back to my home gym and like be more comfortable with it. But for the most part, the environment at the gym is so different now. Like, I just feel like there's this energy of everyone kind of working separately but together on a different goal, but almost the same kind of goal to like improve ourselves as people. And that made me feel so much more confident. Like, it didn't matter if I was doing 10-pound, shoulder presses, for example. It didn't matter if I was doing like 65 pounds hip thrust or 130 leg press. It doesn't matter. Like, I feel like no matter what, I'm just more confident about going to the gym and just being there because I know that everybody's focused on the same goal. So if we kind of expand that outside the gym and expand it more to like everyday life things, right? Yes, we are all doing different things, but in the end, we're all kind of reaching towards the same goal, and that is living the best life for ourselves. If we think about that, your confidence to just keep doing life the way that, you do best, at your best, right? It really changes the environment around you, and you worry less about everyone else and how they think about you and how they judge you, and you focus more on everything that's important to you and really taking advantage of everything in your life right now and being your best in every aspect in your life. And, we often take all the things that we're insecure about and create these scenarios that, one, it's not going to get better like ever. I face that often with my stomach. If you guys listening, just really think about it. Like, the one thing you're insecure about. How often have you reminded yourself, this is never going to change? I'm never going to get better. My stomach's never going to get flat. My thighs are never going to get smaller. My abs are never going to show out. Like, I'm never going to be strong enough. My biceps aren't big enough. Every time we say we are not enough or we're never going to reach something, we limit ourselves. We don't allow ourselves to have that motivation, have that strength to keep going and keep moving forward to be that better version of ourselves, to get a little bit closer to that goal. When we say that, we give ourselves a stop. When you're driving straight, that's like a stop sign that's automatically placed out of nowhere, or a dead end. You're basically creating a dead end for yourself. So when we start to be proactive, recognize these insecurities and how they make us feel, it's good to be proactive and even change our goals to something that's, of course, still attainable, but not creating obstacles that our own mind creates. And when I say that, there's going to be obstacles in our lives, right? Like, I guess for body image, the one thing I can think about is injury. You're working so hard and you hurt yourself. You tear your ACL, you sprain your ankle, sprain your foot, you get tendonitis like I do just by sitting crisscross applesauce all the time. And your feet flare up sometimes. I hate that shit. I can't do calf raises anymore because I get tendonitis. Like, it flares up. There's this kind of pain in my foot that I feel. So I'm kind of wary of lunges and calf raises, but even injury, right? You can still persist moving forward. And I'm not saying to use your knee when you tear your ACL or do more lunges when your ankle is sprained. But there's still ways to be fit no matter what. Now, for my listeners, I just want to remind you that body image and working on your body does not require a gym. You do not have to be slaving to the weights. You don't have to be, you know, doing heavy weights all the time, going up in weight. That's not necessarily the only way to be fit. And when I say that, I also am talking about dance classes, Zumba. You can watch HIIT videos online on YouTube if you even don't want to go to the gym. But I think that the first step in just being confident about our body image and ourselves is recognizing that confidence is in ourselves. It's there. I think if you just imagine confidence and our insecurities as two different, I guess, imaginary creatures, our insecurities lock up our confidence in that cage, in that small cage. And, your confidence is just screaming to be noticed, it's just screaming to be let out. When we are insecure and we let our body insecurities kind of restrict us from our confidence, from really showing our true best natural nature, we start to regret things, right? I mean, how many times, if you really think about it, how many times have your insecurities stopped you from having fun, from being happy? There were so many times where I was so insecure about my body that I didn't look nice for things. And not saying I was trying to look nice for other people, but just for the sake of myself, I really wanted to dress up at this occasion. But because I didn't like how I looked in this particular dress, I limited myself. I just didn't show up with the right happiness, the right confidence, and I didn't enjoy that particular moment or occasion to my fullest because I was so worried about my insecurities. So when you don't kind of let go of that insecurity, your confidence is often limited. And I guess that's the next step, right, of being more confident from our body issues. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. No, but seriously, let it go. Drop your guard and trust yourself that you've been doing so well up to now, or you're at least making a change or appreciating your body no matter what it is and flaunting it. We only have the short life to live our best, and why not start now in practicing being confident, practicing positive self-image, and appreciating how much our bodies have gone through. And don't get me wrong, I haven't even had kids yet, right? I can't imagine how postpartum mothers feel about their before and after bodies. I often see that because for my challenge, my workout challenge, I often see mothers who have been talking about how unhappy they were with their bodies postpartum because of just the extra fat that pregnancy, brings. And yet they love their body so much because they're insecure. It's very easy for them to think that it's never going to go away. But with persistence, they really just shed off all that extra weight from pregnancy. And I think it's so motivating to think that even mothers have the time to rebuild their confidence, reconnect with themselves, find what they love about themselves again, and put work into it. They are so confident. I'm so surprised to just every mother out there. Like, honestly, huge props to you guys. You guys do so much. And I feel like as mothers especially, they hear me the most, when I'm talking about loving every part of your body. Because oftentimes I see mothers talking about how although their body doesn't look the same now as before pregnancy, they are so amazed at how their body was able to carry a baby. So I just think that's so motivating because although it doesn't just apply to pregnant mothers or postpartum mothers, that's how we should be looking at ourselves. That's how we should change our view on ourselves. Yes, there's this extra weight on my stomach that I absolutely freaking hate all the time. But hey, man, it gets me to the gym. It's helped me get this far in life. You know, physically, I've gone through so many changes, but it's gotten me up to this point in life. And that's something that just makes me feel so confident about myself that I've already recognized the ability of my body to do these things. Another example that I have is I think it's called Face Off. I might be wrong. I don't know if that's the correct makeup show that I was kind of thinking about exactly, but there's this one girl who has a huge, like, blemish on her face. It's like it pretty much covers half of her face, right? It's a little discolored from the rest of her skin on her face. And she used to be so insecure about it. But then she discovered the world of makeup. And mind you, at first, she was using it to cover her blemish, right? But she changed the way she looked at it. And that was so motivating to watch. She became this huge TikTok star. And she uses makeup and uses her blemish actually to really bring it out and have it be a special feature in her face. Like, that's so cool to think about that the one thing that used to make her feel insecure is now basically what's giving her a lot of credit, right? You know, you remember her because of that. So I think that's so motivating because it's doable. You can make your insecurities into something more constructive for yourself. Even when it comes to makeup or honestly, even just the smallest thing that you're insecure about, you really could find an inner confidence in looking at it differently as something beautiful, as something that makes you you. That is the most important thing. The thing that makes you insecure, that's what makes you you. That is a part of you as a person. You know, I think that when we think about that more and that it even honestly helps us stick out from everyone else. It's like your own unique part of you, right? And that's how we kind of change self judgment to self kindness. You know, yes, I'm insecure about this. I hate my belly, but I'm proud of myself. I don't look bad right now. I'm very happy about myself and my body image, you know. I hate my outfit right now, but it's okay that I'm nervous. You know, I'm just proud of you for being able to show up to this party and making the effort to go and see your family friends that you haven't seen in a long time. Don't judge yourself, you know, you're doing the best that you can. Kind of tying into the whole don't judge yourself so harshly. I think what also helps boost your confidence is that we don't judge others because we all know when we judge other people, it's low key an insecurity. It may not come off that way. It may not come off as, you know, you being insecure of your current situation. But truth of the matter is, there's always a slight hint of insecurity in every negative emotion, especially when we judge others and say things about other people because we are insecure about it. When we judge others, indirectly, we are feeling like we don't have what other people have. So instead of spending the time judging other people, right? Why not take that time and instead find ways to either encourage the other person or encourage ourselves to use that as motivation to also improve ourselves, right? Growing up, I think I spent way too much time on other people, and I learned the hard way that it's not ever productive to focus our energies on other people and other things that people have that we don't necessarily have. And just remember this, you guys. Just because you don't have something that someone else doesn't have, or you don't have the knowledge or the skills that somebody else has, doesn't mean you're behind in life. So I think thinking that to yourself really helps you embrace you as a person and also to just be super confident in everything that we do and everything that we are. See, the common theme of improving ourselves and embracing growth, like I said in my last episode, it's really just a constant cycle of self loving and appreciating how we got to that point. Another point is that people around you also, and people who don't even follow you or aren't close with you, even on social media, there are people out there who think that what you have is what they don't have. So you kind of have to think about that too. It kind of humbles you in a way and makes you feel less insecure because you honestly are just like everybody else who has insecurities, but also, spend too much time comparing to each other. But I feel like when you think that way and kind of re-centralize yourself back to focusing on yourself and your own growth and your own health, it really makes you just naturally feel confident. So I think that's so cool to realize that about yourself and really reconnect with your insecurities and make them not monsters, but helpful little monsters on the side. You know, they don't have to be demeaning and negative and bring you down. They can be something totally constructed in a different way that makes you feel a lot more confident in your own shell. I think that's so amazing about what the mind can do for not just our insecurities, but just how we look at ourselves. Maybe next time you look in the mirror and you see your insecurity or you're thinking about your insecurity, think about all your strengths. Your insecurities don't define who you are. What matters most is what you're working on, what you're accomplishing, what got you to this point. These are the things that everyone will remember. It won't be that you were constantly insecure about something. It was you overcoming any challenge in your life, or working to get better, or working out, or just feeling your best self. They will remember you for your good memories and not your bad. We remember our own bad memories. We focus on that. So maybe next time it comes up, just recognize like, oh, I'm thinking something negative about myself. But, and that's a big but, I will not dwell on it because I am a perfectly imperfect human being. And although I get nervous and anxious about whatever I'm getting insecure about, there is still so much of me that I'm so proud of. And watch yourself just really grow from that, from constantly reminding yourself how much you've put yourself through and how far you've come. You'll be super happy and just overall a less insecure person, more confident, and it'll show naturally. Don't even have to try. And like all things, it's a long process to change a mindset that you've basically had your entire life. I don't know about you guys, but I've been insecure about certain things for all I could remember, to be honest. So again, even though we don't change right away, as long as we're consistently and constantly making the active effort to feel more confident every single day, even if it's 5 more seconds than a day before, that's always progress, right? So we should always appreciate that and remember the process. The end result is near, but the process is what makes that end goal a bajillion times better. And just remember, everyone started with taking the first step. So as long as you're continuously making the steps, your confidence will follow. And I think what really boosts our confidence is the fact that everyone around us loves us for who we are. I think when we constantly are around the energy of unconditional love, it really does bring out a natural confidence in yourself that you can use as a constant reminder of when you're feeling insecure, that this little thing that's bothering me is really a small thing compared to all the things that what everyone loves around me. And you'll see, it just really makes you feel better as a person. And when you feel good about yourself, especially knowing that you have told yourself this a lot, your confidence will just flourish. You'll be a beautiful flower, the beautiful flower that you are. regardless of if you're a cactus or a cherry blossom. They're all beautiful in their own way. So I want to end it with that. And just remember, every little day is a new day to be better, no matter what. So that concludes our episode. And I love how beautiful it ties with Valentine's Day coming up, because it's not just about loving the people around you, it's about loving yourself too. You are just important as the people around you that you want to shower with love. So don't forget, you are a beautiful flower, no matter what you are, what shape you are. Just love yourself and you are beautiful. But if you have any questions, concerns, or any comments about this episode, I'd love to hear about it. I'm going to be posting it on my website, Philline my Instagram, Philline Podcast, my Twitter, Philline, and my Facebook page too. So wherever you land up, just send a comment or send a message and I'll happily respond. So you guys enjoy your week. Have a great, happy week, proactive week, mindful thinking, and just love yourself a little more. So yeah, that is the end of this week's episode, and I'll catch you guys next week.